And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor to invite Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Seri Anwar bin Ibrahim, Prime Minister of Malaysia, to deliver the keynote address and to officiate the Global Islamic Finance Forum 2025. Please welcome Yang Amat Berhormat Prime Minister.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera. Alhamdulillah, nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil karim. Saudara Menteri M. Hamzah, Gubernur Rashid, tetamu-tamu yang saya muliakan, termasuk sahabat saya Bilal Adwan, sekali lagi saya di Bank Negara ni hampir tiap minggu dah ni. Dan saya beritahu ke Governor kalau dia terus mengheret saya ke sini, saya minta kantor office khas di sini. Ya, tapi ini menunjukkan satu perkembangan yang menggalakkan. Saya ucap tahniah kepada Gubernur dan pasukan kerana komitmen yang lebih jelas untuk mengangkat bukan saja keupayaan institusi keuangan keseluruhannya, tapi lebih jelas tentang keuangan Islam. Instrumen ini harus dikembangkan dan punya potensi yang luas. Tanpa komitmen pribadi Gubernur dan juga kekuatan asas kita, saya percaya ia tidak akan melonjak. Dan sekarang kita harus kembalikan kekuatan Malaysia di antara yang mengasaskan institusi ini ke satu mercu yang lebih tinggi. Dalam belanjawan hari Jumaat lalu, saya tekankan hal yang sedemikian dan saya ucap sekali lagi penghargaan saya tinggi-tingginya kepada rakan-rakan yang dapat menjayakan. So, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, again, profound honor and a deep sense of purpose that I join you today at the Global Islamic Finance Forum 2025. So, my appreciation to the association for, of course, Islamic Banking and Financial Institution Malaysia, IBIM, for their exemplary leadership in convening this forum with the steadfast support of the Governor and the Bank Negara Malaysia. I was alluding in Bahasa just now that at the rate he is going, I will insist that I set up an office here. Because I think for 3 weeks in a row, right? And he's so persuasive and demanding that it's very difficult for me to say no. He says this is the best in the world, this exemplary, this will give you the necessary push. And how do I, as a politician, say no? Those of you who are familiar with the Yes Prime Minister series will understand what I mean. Now, once again, the timeless principles of the Sharia, particularly the understanding of Maqasid Sharia, meet the boundless possibilities of modern innovation. And I made this reference to this issue here last week and the previous week about the need to see the Islamic financial instrument as not just complementary, but to focus on our ability and capacity to showcase and present a viable alternative that covers not a limited understanding of sustainability, but of ihsan, of a true meaning of participatory and joint and fair and just development. This morning I had this conversation with the students. Dr. Azman was there, and I made this reference to our economic discipline in the universities. My generation, and many of you have been taught that the pillar has been, of course, Adam Smith's Wealth of Nations. Whilst that seems to be relevant in some areas, I'm not discarding that entirely in its entirety. But you should be, even if you understand Adam Smith's Wealth of Nations, it is only fair to also read his other great work, the theory of moral sentiment, then the whole understanding of economic development and capitalistic outlook can be at least adjusted to understand some societal concerns that relate to the issue of inequality and justice. I made reference to a small retreat we had in Bilbao in Spain with Amartya Sen and Michel Camdesu many years back when I was in the doldrums. So I had a lot of time. Now, it is interesting, we were talking about Adam Smith and his limitations. If we confine ourselves purely to unbridled capitalism that most of our countries face, including Muslim countries. But it is interesting that Amartya Sen's wife, Emma, alerted us to say, look, before you proceed further to this critique, or should I say devastating critique of Adam Smith, you must also realize that Adam Smith, in his Wealth of Nations, not taking theory of moral sentiments, made a point to raise the issue of inequality at least 14 or 17 times, according to her. Amazing, she could count how many times Adam Smith made. Now, why I refer to this is precisely because we inherit a system. And this is a major challenge of post-colonial world and society, that people, however much, even some nationalists and anti-colonial masters, leaders, tend to be absorbed and convinced with a particular viewpoint, either the right, unbridled capitalism, or the left, socialism or communism. And we see now an opportunity to make some adjustments. And I have strong views on this, I mean, to follow my colleague Najatullah Siddiqui, of making adjustments, of Islamizing some instruments. Fair, it has to be done in the first decade or so, but now we should mature. We should be able to see the strength of the economic system as a viable alternative, and I think showcase to the world, because unbridled capitalism with the lack of values and humanity in politics and surely in economics, we need not be just confined to the views of Piketty, or before that Stiglitz, or even John Rawls. For those who are familiar with this whole concept of maqasid sharia and economics, would realize that the major concern in economic development is justice and equity. And the legacy of Omar Abdul Aziz, for example, is not only that he's pious, but more profoundly, as a caliph, he made clear that his major task, other than peace and stability, is effective eradication of poverty from countries like, of course, the Arab world to Azerbaijan. And why is it so? Because, of course, it relates to the issue of governance. That is why when I discuss this Malaysia Madani and economy, and including Islamic finance, I will invariably relate to the issue of governance. Because however effective the Islamic instrument is, if we operate in a system of poor governance, of endemic corruption and abuse of power, it will not meet the desired aim of maqasid sharia. So during the budget on Friday, I gave us a shocking figure. In the last 2 years, because of our focus on governance and zero tolerance towards corruption, abuse of power, smuggling, and the presence of so many of these cartels and syndicates, we were able, can you imagine, in 2 years, we were able to generate income through massive confiscation and stopping or taking these corrupt funds to an amount of 15.5 billion ringgit. I myself personally, find a great difficulty to understand how is it that in a country like Malaysia, relatively, doing reasonably well, good governance, still we find this. And this is not, of course, complete, which means we have been tolerating this, assuming every year we have lost 5 billion through these scoundrels of corrupt masters and syndicates and cartels. Can you imagine? For the last, say, decade, how many billions have we lost? That is why I think we look at Maqasid Sharia, we must start with issue of good governance. And you will always need to remind us, the leaders, professionals, academia, and the civil servants, that working together to ensure that the aim, the true aim in the Maqasid, the higher objective of the Sharia is that even in introducing financial instruments, the whole issue of competitiveness, about profits, cannot ignore the importance of values, justice, and good governance. Of course, now we talk about green energy, sustainable agriculture, affordable housing. I don't need to bother you on this because you are the experts here. My role is to remind that the governance, our house must be in order. And once it is in order, initiatives such as Islamic finance can really showcase. Because otherwise, there will be this instrument part as a viable alternative. But in a system that condones or tolerates corruption, so you have so many leakages. Why do we take this responsibility to ensure that, to correct some of these ills and flaws and limitations? So I see Islamic finance and extending beyond Islamic economic order is essentially that, within that framework. And I would appeal to you to continue to do this, because these are instruments that act as a complement to the overall scheme of the Maqasid al-Sharia, delivering full profit with purpose, of course, and growth that leaves no one behind. So it is to me a very critical issue, and I mentioned this earlier, that 2024 alone, we issued 20 billion ringgit in sustainable and responsible investment sukuk. So it is a clear sign that, notwithstanding what I've said on the issue of governance, etc., it is a clear signal to the world that our Islamic finance sector is not only thriving, but leading in mobilizing capital for green, social, and ethical impact, which meets this overall governance viewpoint. But again, as I've said, our work is not far from done. The world is entering an era where capital will increasingly be judged not just by the returns it generates, but by the lives it touches and the legacies it leaves behind. Now, we have shown, and we must continue to explore this, that Islamic finance can lead this shift, this gross inequity, injustice, and tolerance of all the ills that have affected our societies. And this can be further strengthened because in every class, in every lecture, in every initiative, every instrument, we talk about values and ethics. So, may Allah give us the strength, and may let this forum be the place where new alliances are forged, where innovation is harnessed for the common good, and where Malaysia's leadership inspires a global movement. A leadership that focuses on values and ethics and humanity in a climate that has somewhat ignored these core principles and values. So the next chapter is ours to write, and history will remember whether we choose to lead with courage or to follow with caution. So Malaysia's leadership in Islamic finance did not happen overnight, of course. You have seen the work, a result of decades of innovation, resilience, and foresight. My duty is to remind you to bring back to the core fundamentals and values, other than the global sukuk market or the green and sustainability-linked sukuk. We develop a strong competitive takaful sector. We embrace fintech and digital platform for zakat and wakaf, linking tradition with modern technology. And it is again precisely for this reason that Malaysia is consistently recognized as a trusted global hub where investors can find stability, clarity, and opportunity underpinned again by ethical foundations. Now, if I may share, Governor, my engagement with investors in the Middle East, in ASEAN, not ignoring Turkey, of course, and Europe and beyond, our theme is clear. The world is searching for financial systems that deliver not just profits, but also purpose. And so, let us work together to empower our communities by ensuring that financial solutions uplift those most in need. We must advance ethical and responsible businesses through cross-border partnership, innovation, and shared prosperity. Terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Seri. Datuk Seri, please proceed to the center of the stage for our next proceeding. May I invite Minister of Finance 2, Governor, Chairman of MLC and Deputy Governor to join Yang Amat Berhormat Prime Minister on stage for MIFC Global Impact Challenge Award ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, with the theme of accelerating innovation, empowering change, this year's challenge seek to catalyze innovative, impact-driven financial solutions in Islamic finance that strengthen social resilience and address climate challenges. 4 teams will be awarded with the MIFC Global Impact Challenge. The panel of judges have concluded to award 3 recipients for Social Resilience Track and 1 recipient for Climate Resilience Track. Please welcome the first recipient of Social Resilience Track, Venture Wakalah. Wakalah is a blockchain-powered wakalah management platform that enhances transparency, governance, and efficiency in Islamic social finance. Congratulations. Please welcome the second recipient of Social Resilience Track, Venture Go Barakah. Go Barakah is a fintech platform that delivers social aid through secure, transparency e-vouchers funded by donations, corporate social responsibility, zakat, and wakalah allocation. Congratulations. Please welcome the third recipient, Venture Koha Islamic Digital. Koha Islamic Digital is a digital platform modernizing the hibah and wasiah process through tech-enabled estate planning for Muslim families. Congratulations. And the award recipient for Climate Resilient Track is Venture Bah-E. Bah-E is a platform that empowers small-scale farmers by providing digital credit, guidance, and market access to improve yields and incomes. All award recipients will also take home cash prizes and comprehensive course program for up 12 months from the partners to help scale their solutions across borders. Congratulations. Congratulations once again to all of our award recipients. With that, we would like to thank Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Seri Anwar bin Ibrahim for presenting the award and for gracing GIFF 2025.